Well, I got some comics that I want to show you in today's episode of Comic Book Haul, and I hope you like it because I do have a couple of variants and a couple of new ones, and of course, one old comic that I did pick up. So stay tuned right after this intro. Hey everyone, welcome to News to Astonish, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more, and welcome to another episode of Comic Haul. I got some comics that I want to share with you, so let's get right to it then. So starting off with the first one, I did include this comic book in the last episode of the Comic Haul, and this was for Doomsday Clock number 2. So I actually managed to pick up the Doomsday Clock number 2. This is the variant edition. The first one had an entirely different cover, where it had a costume on the ground. This one has a cover of Lex Luthor in the front with Osmodiah's hand on his shoulder. So I had to pick this up because, I'm a sucker for variant covers for comic books. And if you don't know what a variant is, it's basically a different cover of the same comic. So this is Doomsday Clock number 2. It just has a different cover. That's why they call it variant covers. Definitely have to pick it up, and because these types of comics comics with variant covers go scarce really quickly. So as any comic book collector would, they would go off and buy multiple copies of the same comic just with a different cover. That's just how it is. And now for the second comic, I have, I was putting my watch and my phone on silent because sometimes messages would go through and it'll interrupt this video, Anyways, the second comic that I picked up was Doomsday Clock number 3. And this one has Batman on it. This is the original cover. And I read these comics, by the way. They're gorgeous. The artwork is beautiful. It's very detailed, too. And it's got a lot of, detail in the dialogue and the pictures. It's like watching a movie. I actually imagined these scenes being played on the big screen. This can make for a good film. And I can't wait for all 12 issues to come out, because it's amazing. Maybe a good idea for a giveaway, too. Who knows? So that's Doomsday Clock number 3, and I also have another issue of the same issue, Doomsday Clock number 3, only with a different cover. There is another variant cover out there that I do want to get, and I couldn't find it. This one has a bottle of gin being smashed against the wall or the floor, whichever one you want to call it. And I won't spoil for any reason. There's a good reason why. I believe the second variant cover has a stack of pancakes, and there's a good reason for that too. For those of you who are reading Doomsday Clock, and I'll let you, if you freak out and you happen to know what it is, you can comment down below. But Doomsday Clock number 3, both versions right here, the original and a variant. I'm just missing one more variant. If I can find it, I'll gladly buy it. And the next comic that I have is Flash number 38. Flash number 39. The Perfect Storm Part 1. Grodd is officially back. So yes, this comic is gorgeous. I am having fun with the Flash. The last comic book that I read was Flash number 38, where Flash and Captain Cold, or in this case Citizen Cold, were confronting each other and they were fighting. And don't want to spoil the events of that either, but just read this one. This is leading to a limited story run, and this is The Perfect Storm Part 1. Haven't read this one yet, actually. I haven't managed to read it yet, but I'm definitely going to read it shortly after. So yeah, Flash number 39. Gorgeous comic cover. And then lastly, this was a classic comic that I picked up, and I found it. I managed to buy it for $30. This one, I've been looking all over for it, because if you're familiar with this comic book cover, even Spiderman fans would know this cover if they've seen it online on Google Images. This is the Web of Spider-Man number 1. In this issue, this is the comic where Spider-Man manages to remove the black suit off of him in the Church Bell Tower, just like in the Spider-Man 3 movie. The movie's terrible. I won't go into that, but it's pretty bad. But still, that scene is ripped off from the comics of this comic right here, and like ripped off the pages from here. So it's a really popular comic, a very good read. It's a fun time. Definitely gorgeous cover. And I did read it too, by the way, and it's been a while since I read it. I completely, like, I almost had forgotten that the Vulturions were in this comic. You know, they're like these bunch of guys dressed up in vulture suits. Like, there's like 4 of them, and they're working for the Vulture. And in the midst of that fight, Spider-Man is trying to get the suit off, and it keeps jerking him around and freaking out and everything. And he ends up at the church tower, and that's where he removes his alien symbiote costume, and it just goes off, you know, roaming around freely. It just leaves him there, but it saves Peter Parker's life in the end of it. But definitely a good comic. Definitely pick it up if you have a chance. I bought this one for $30. It does have a couple of dings and maybe like a couple of holes in the pages. They're not too noticeable. They're like really tiny little ones. But it overall, like, the cover is in good condition, and it's a great comic. Highly suggest you read it if you're into Spider-Man comic books. Classic one. Must own for any comic book collector, regardless of the fact. So yeah, that was my comic haul, guys. I hope you liked it. Stay tuned. I do have a stream coming up in about maybe 30 minutes or so. So hang tight. I'm going to get the stream going. It's for Dragon Ball FighterZ Z. I'm going to be continuing the story. Although I did manage to play a little bit of the story without streaming it. So if you're confused as to where I left off, don't worry. That means that I just played a little bit off stream. Now I'm going to be streaming and continuing the story. So guys, as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. I'm sorry if you hear background noise. I have family in the house that are over. My grandparents, my uncle's home, and my dad, of course, is there, and my stepmom. Yeah, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Follow me on any of the social media accounts. Subscribe for more, and I will see you all in the next comic panel.